A picture tells the story better than 1,000 words. And many years ago, a friend of mine started talking about illustrating the state of the world and the world economy. And here are some examples of that. This is a painting that is called Deus Ex Machina. Deus Ex Machina means gold out of the machine. In the old Greek plays, there used to be a disaster happening, and then all of a sudden there was a miraculous solution. This was a little man being lowered down and solving it all. That's gold out of the machine. He came and solved the whole problem. This painting was done in 2008 when the great financial crisis started. And at that time, all the economies of European countries or Western countries were crashing. At the time, it was Greece first and Italy and Spain, etc. And the US and the UK hadn't crashed yet, but they're on their way also. And of course, in 2008, the world was not many minutes from crashing through the financial system, basically collapsing. But central banks saved it. And here we show that Bank of England, ECB, IMF, the Fed, they're all standing there catching these falling cars. History at that time saved the financial system temporarily. I thought maybe it would crash at that time already because the debt and derivatives were at a level which was unacceptable and insolvable. But they did a good job by printing trillions and trillions of money and extending the problem until today, when it's much greater than then. Of course, debt has gone up manyfold since then, and the risks have gone up exponentially since 2008 crisis. And of course, all that money printing has led to the value of money going down, which reflected in the gold price, of course. It's also led to all bubble asset markets having gone to heights which are unfathomable. They are now all of these paper assets, whether it's stocks or bonds or real assets like property, through the massive increase in money printing, they've gone to levels which are unsustainable. And that could be not far away. I expect that the 2008 crisis, if it had happened then, we had let it collapse then, that would have been easy or much easier to manage than we're talking about now, with the debt levels and the derivative levels that we have of global debt is at least 350 trillion, and derivatives, including shadow banking, etc., I think are probably around the 2 quadrillion level. So this is a problem that this time central banks will not be able to solve. So sadly, all of this will break. They're not going to catch these falling cars or falling economies, and instead we are going to have the biggest global financial collapse that ever has existed in history, in my view. So it's going to be very, very difficult times for the world. I think the East will also suffer, but they will come out of it in a better way. And of course, again, the consequences are falling asset prices, and we will see a gradual shift from paper assets to real assets being obviously gold, silver, and assets in the ground, base metals, etc. And the world is not prepared for this. So therefore, we will have the biggest wealth destruction ever in history. So, consequence is clear. Prepare yourself. This is now going to happen sooner than we think, and therefore, think about wealth preservation. Think about preserving your wealth in gold and in silver outside the banking system. Because if you don't, and if you stay in the bubble assets, stocks and bonds, you are going to see a massive, massive reduction in your wealth. In our view, gold, for example, and silver, in relation to, let's say, the stock market, the Dow Jones, I think is going to fall by at least 90% versus gold or versus silver. So it's certainly much better investment to be in hard assets than in paper assets.